Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be going into the abilities of AHSOKA Tano. But before we begin, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, let's jump straight into it. So, AHSOKA Tano made use of an unorthodox reverse grip during combat, but at the insistence of her master, eventually began to utilize the standard grip, in addition to a reverse grip. Tano was a particularly acrobatic lightsaber duelist, who often utilized the Force to jump down on her opponents, and to dodge lightsaber strikes. Although she was physically smaller than many of her opponents, she proved to be a skilled duelist, wielding one and eventually two lightsabers. At the beginning of her apprenticeship under Skywalker, Tano's combatant skills were already quite considerable, given that she defeated 3 IG-100 Magna Guards single-handedly during her first mission. Later, Tano temporarily held her ground against the skilled Sith assassin Asajj Ventress and the Jedi hunter General Grievous after only a very short time training under Skywalker. Although, she was forced to run away from Grievous a short time into their confrontation. Her skills in lightsaber combat developed over time, and she began to favor using a variant of Form 5 in battle, like her master. Although Offee was certain that she would be skilled at Form 6 as well. During the Clone Wars, Tano became a practitioner of Jarkai, wielding a yellowish-green Shoto lightsaber in addition to her standard lightsaber. However, Tano occasionally utilized only her main lightsaber, such as when she dueled Skywalker on Mortis, while under the dark side influence of the Sun. Nevertheless, Tano became more commonly utilizing Jarkai, particularly when facing multiple opponents, such as when she engaged the much more experienced Skywalker and Kenobi on Mortis. While fleeing from the clones after being framed for murder, Tano lost her second lightsaber and was forced to use her only remaining lightsaber to fight Barriss Offee. Her duel against Offee showed that she had become too reliant on her second lightsaber, something she had in common with Asajj Ventress. And though she did put up a considerable fight, Offee eventually overwhelmed her. Around 2 years after her first duel with Grievous, Tano proved during their encounter on Florrum that her skills in lightsaber combat had improved vastly, as she had held her own against all 4 of Grievous' lightsabers, whereas previously she only lasted a short time, when he was only using 2 lightsabers. Instead of fleeing after exchanging only a few blows, Tano held her ground and gave the younglings time to escape, before escaping with them. By the time of the Siege of Mandalore, Tano demonstrated highly advanced skills in lightsaber combat, as evidenced by her prolonged duel with the powerful former Sith Lord Maul. Although Maul successfully disarmed Tano at the conclusion of their duel, she turned Maul's own attack against him in order to defeat him nonetheless. Throughout the Clone Wars, Tano showed adeptness in deflecting blaster shots, particularly during Order 66, where she survived in a prolonged battle against her own men. Even in extremely close quarter fighting, she was able to defend herself despite being surrounded by multiple troopers. Thanks to her training, she knew she could fight while blinded, yet she recognized needing to do that and fight without lightsabers would be a challenge. She was also skilled enough to fight without lightsabers, defeating the 6th brother who was wielding a lightsaber with only the Force. 16 years after her departure from the Jedi Order, Tano's skill in lightsaber combat had greatly improved to the point of mastery. During a skirmish at Hammertown, she easily defeated 2 Imperial Inquisitors at once, and even deactivated the double-bladed lightsaber of the 7th sister with her bare hands. During the mission to Malachor, Tano again proved capable of fighting several Inquisitors at once and disarmed the 5th brother and destroyed his lightsaber. During the same mission, Tano again proved capable of dueling to a stalemate with the former Sith Lord Maul, before breaking off the fight to rescue Ezra Bridger. Shortly afterwards, Tano engaged in an intense duel with Darth Vader, and although she ultimately lost, she proved capable of putting up a much more impressive fight against him than either Jarrus or Bridger were previously able to do so. Gifted with raw Force skill, Tano at first was only skilled at sensing the intentions and emotions of those around her, although she was able to advance in more skills once her training began. She was noted by her master to possess advanced abilities. At the beginning of her apprenticeship, Tano was capable of telekinetic feats, as evidenced during the Battle of Christophsis, where she pulled down a large wall in order to save Skywalker from a group of retail droids. In another instance, Tano strongly pushed Ventress and flung her back some distance in order to save the life of Luminara Unduli. By the end of the Clone Wars, Tano's telekinetic abilities advanced to the point that she was often able to hold Maul aloft high above the city of Sindari, and could use the Force to prevent a small starship from taking off. During Order 66, she was able to use the Force to guide her two lightsabers in a circle to cut an escape path for her and Rex. Tano later proved able to create a powerful protective Force barrier that was capable of temporarily holding back fiery dark-side energies conjured by Darth Sidious. She also had a strong ability to sense things in the Force, feeling the presence of Plo Koon after his fleet was destroyed by the Malevolence, and the presence of the children who were kidnapped by Cad Bane. She also eventually learned how to perform mind tricks. She would sometimes use Force Choke, despite it being a dark side Force power, but relied on it mostly to temporarily fend off an enemy. She used this method against a Trandoshan hunter on Washa, prompting her companion Khalifa to use it as well. However, when Khalifa did not let it go and began to threaten to kill the hunter, Tano convinced her to let the Trandoshan go, saying it's not the Jedi way to kill out of anger. In addition, Tano's forces enabled her to leap to incredible heights. She used this to her advantage when leaping onto the Phantom in order to escape two Inquisitors. She frequently uses her acrobatic prowess during lightsaber combat, using front flips, back flips, and somersaults to avoid enemy attacks. During a duel against General Grievous, she vaulted herself on top of the cyborg general, before springing off his back and escaping. Ultimately, thanks to her skill in the Force, she was never weaponless, as she could always call upon its power. Ahsoka also experienced Force visions and dreams. She used the Force to heal two corrupted kyber crystals that had been blood red, and restored them to their natural white color. These crystals became part of their new twin lightsabers. Tano was able to use the Force to amplify her touch. On one occasion, she used this Force power to shatter the hilt of the Sixth Brother's double-bladed, spinning lightsaber. She also demonstrated the ability to sense the thoughts and feelings of others. When she met Grogu, she was able to sense his thoughts to such a precise degree that she was able to deduce his name and that he had been trained as a Jedi youngling at the temple on Coruscant. In addition to her Force powers and lightsaber combat skills, she was a talented pilot, and often displayed skill as a war strategist by leading an attack that penetrated the Separatist blockade on Ryloth. During the Clone Wars, Tano passed on some of her fight knowledge to Senator Amidala, instructing her in starfighter combat. Due to her piloting skills, Ahsoka found work as a courier for the Fardi clan, while on the run from the Empire. She believed her skill in flying came from being trained by Anakin Skywalker, who she considered to be the best pilot in the galaxy. Ahsoka displayed skill in hand-to-hand combat, as she overpowered Cad Bane before dropping her guard and being incapacitated by the bounty hunter. She later used her hand-to-hand combat skills on Mandalore, by single-handedly defeating a group of the Mandalorian Secret Service, and later holding off several guards and subduing Prime Minister Almec despite being handcuffed. However, on that occasion, she armed herself with one of the guard's shields, which she used to fend them off and defend herself from a stun gun, which was a prisoner of Trandoshan hunters. Tano killed the hunters, Dar and his father Garnak, by only using hand-to-hand combat and her Force abilities. She had a considerable knowledge of mechanics, which she had learned from her master. She used her mechanical skills to contact Skywalker and save her and Barriss Offee's lives when they were trapped under a destroyed droid factory on Geonosis. She also knew how to repair vehicles. While on Mortis, she repaired the shuttle that she, Kenobi, and Skywalker had crashed on the planet. Tano understood Shrywook, as demonstrated by her translations for Chewbacca, while captured on Wask. Tano later used her skills as a mechanic, as her translations for Chewbacca while captured, repairing starships and threshers while hiding on Thebeska and Rada. Tano assembled her new twin lightsabers from scrap metal parts that she had acquired from the Fardis. During their mission to Malachor, Tano was able to read some words in ymca, the ancient Sith language. So what'd you guys think of Ahsoka's powers and abilities? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.